Utanisaidia kukaranga hizo mboga na unahakisha nyanya zimekuwa zini kabisa uji. Alright guys, welcome to Life Saga TV. We may go for 10 minutes or 15. I don't want a long video, just to keep the channel running. Once I get time, I'll be able to do longer videos, guys. So welcome to Life Saga TV, guys. I'm confusing my other channel with this, but I beg, all of them belong to me. And I thank you guys for supporting me big time. Really appreciate. I don't take it for granted. So of course, Ndindi Nyoro, as currently as you can see, his graph has gone low because people are saying he's treacherous. What do you feel about this? I asked this question. I've not yet received any responses, but I hope the comments will be coming. Now, of course, the 25th of June is coming. I am afraid as well because I'm traveling to the city. I must sit for exam somewhere, and I'm like, why now? Until you're traveling, you will not understand why it is not good to actually have these protests in the city, because now your safety is not assured, your travel back is not guaranteed, and you don't know what's going to happen. So we are in siege. But I don't know. Could we have another option instead of the protests in Nairobi? I don't know whether they have helped us much, because from what I hear from the Gen Zs, they feel like they were actually taken for granted. And as much as they fought, what happened is that the government, or rather the government, was picked by opportunists, and opportunists finally took over and gained out of it. So of course I'm bringing something from Plage TV. I'm a fan of Plage TV, Maisha TV, Mtembe TV, and Wafula Lekwini, fellow reactors towards political channels. And therefore, sometimes when I bring them, some people think it's repetitious, but I just want to prove a point. So, of course, the president has been warning, or rather requesting, pledging with them not to go to the streets, but at the same time threatening, telling them that if you dare, we are not going to spare you. However, yesterday I saw something about goons that had been sent by some of the leaders in the, I don't know, to attack some people, and some of them were actually attacked violently, ending their life. It's unfortunate. Sometimes we preach water, we take wine. What is this? Okay. Now, one thing that I don't like about the current situation in Kenya is that while some people will actually campaign, you pay tax, you really love your country, work hard, go to job without complaining, they are not just going for it. They are creating opportunities for grabbing the greatest wealth, and that is actually thinning our pay slips day after day. Recently, you saw teachers lost 108 shillings on their pay slips. If you multiply that by all the teachers in the nation, do you know what that means? It is around 108 billion. Hey, wizi bila lazima. It's a theft without violence, okay? Robbery without violence. Mchana mchana. Now, after that, I heard something about returning, and then they just said, we've returned, not even a sorry. You understand? So currently, of course, we have some teachers who are willing to go out, but TSC is saying resign first. I don't know. If I were to be given that opportunity, actually papers here, and I'm told you sign, go to Japan, go to UK, go to US, even for 5 years, I will actually go. You know what is happening with my setup? Yeah, I'll go, because why would I wait for retirement, and whatever I'm getting is peanuts? By the time that time is up, I'll not have done much development. Actually, most of us are now looking into retirement plans because we're approaching 40s. We want now the best for our kids. We want our kids to have the best education, that is post primary and secondary, so that when they get to universities, they get the best courses. We can afford them. We can also have best retirement homes, and something we can cry around with. So I would rather go work for 5 years and come retire, instead of working for the next 15 years. But then by the time I'm getting out of the class, I don't have anything, because actually loans are suffocating us. We don't talk about this, but really, it is so traumatizing sometimes, because teachers, as much as people say the bank loan is 24, they talk about the rule of 30%. Do you know some teachers now, especially those who earn through even banks, are willing to give advance? You go to corporates, they're also willing to give advance. And once you take them, you don't have any salary. If anything happens today or tomorrow, you have nothing to lean to. Maybe you started a project 5 years ago. It has never ended. You take a loan, you start, you think it's over, it will not. Because sometimes, guys, when it comes to construction, you might think that it's going to end with this, only to have over quotations getting to be up and inflation running into our nose, you know? But let's hope for the best as we continue listening to this. So Ruto threatens protesters with merciless force. But now we heard, of course, Matiang firing back and other politicians. But they said, according to the president, these goons are by these politicians. How true is that? I don't believe that. I believe while the opposition might be having goons, which is might, allegedly, most people who have goons, it's the government. And they're actually trying as much as possible to give us that brave face and tell us that there is nothing they are doing. But in reality, guys, haven't we seen on the streets? We saw Sakaja, right? And we have seen other people like Olengo Dong. Is it Olengo Dong or somebody? Plus many others saying they're gonna do what they do. We saw even this other guy, is it from Narok or which area? Kajado? He said something that actually proves that he was using goons and not to protect the opposition, but to tamper with demonstrations and make them appear that like they were very lethal. Now, I don't understand why the government does not have a way to prevent. They only want to deal with, and that messes the country most of the times. You know, I've had sometimes where I've ordered books or covers and whatever because I do write books, and you find that they are not getting to my end just because of whatever is happening. There is siege in the country. So let's listen to this.
With the Kenya Kwanza government.
The former president of the Republic of Kenya, based on the tribal utterances that he is making, he is beating drums of war.
3 days from now, Kenya could explode again. And this time, the government looks scared.
Hakuna kitu kama one term kwa katiba. Ule mtu anasema one term hajasoma katiba. Katiba imesema tu term ya kwanza ni ya kuleta programs na kuleta policies.
What is Kindiki saying?
Na kuleta ile miradi ambayo
So guys, Kindiki stood, and while speaking, he said that they are not going to allow any protest. They are going to deal with it. According to him, the constitution allows 2 term and not 1 term. He actually said that the constitution allegedly defines that somebody goes for 5 years, which is a time to bring programs, and then comes for the other 5 years to finish. Really? Like Kindiki takes us to be fools. Even if you are Professor Buana, you are lying to us. So he is actually now fooling. People will easily carry that, and that narrative is going to sell. Possibly Soprano has finally found a base to stand on.
Ambatana na ruwaza ya huyo kiongozi kama kiongozi wa taifa. Tamu ya pili ni ya kukamilisha.
June 25th is coming, and President Ruto has deployed his finest political soldiers to beg Kenyans to stay at home.
Nyeri hakuna maandamano, sisi tumefanywa kazi. Hawa watu mnaona wakileta maandamano Nyeri ni watu wa Nairobi wanakuja kuharibu Nyeri.
All right, guys. So according to this lady from Nyeri, people who go about in different areas creating demonstrations are foreigners, because what has the government not done? I don't know how true is that. Even if development has been done at personal level, I'm talking about myself, and maybe I'm representing several people. I don't see how much has been done. The markets have been done, maybe the roads have been done, but when it comes to economic growth, actually, maybe that is happening for those people who invest in bonds or whatever, which most people don't do that. As I've told you, teachers are among the most populated people in this country. And if you talk to most of them, they have not invested in this. Anyway, maybe we'll be coming to that very soon. Let's see. Now let's hear from Matiang.
With just $1,
What is this? Commercial break. Give me a break.
This is real.
William Ruto has drawn his sword, and Fred Matiang'i has told him, shoot it or bleed. This is where Kenya is tonight, 3 days from June 25th, the second anniversary of the protest that cracked this government open, spilled young Kenyan blood in the streets, and forced a sitting president into the most humiliating policy reversal of his tenure. And instead of arriving at this anniversary with humility, with accountability, with even the performance of remorse, Ruto has come out swinging, threatening, vowing to deal with anyone who shows up on those streets with merciless force. And Matiang'i, the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, the man who once held the keys to every security instrument in this republic, has responded with a kind of warning that does not come wrapped in diplomatic language. Not a suggestion, not a gentle nudge, a warning, direct, surgical, delivered by a man who knows exactly what the government is culpable of, because for years he was the government. Let us be precise about what Ruto actually said, because the framing matters enormously. The president has gone public, unambiguous, unapologetic, and frankly alarming in its tone, with a vow that the state will not tolerate what he frames as chaos, destruction, and disruption on June 25th.
Kama unaenda kwa maandamano unabeba mawe na sijui panga na marungu, wewe si mtu ya kuandamana.
Now, of course, let's now turn the clock back and look at what happened in 2024. If the government speaks truth, then we should have seen those people who are going about looting in supermarkets done away with. However, this was not the case. We saw one of the supermarkets on Thika Highway and others in town looted. None of those people was actually arrested or dealt with. Was this a plan by the government? That is the question most of the people asked, and it never came to settle down. Nobody actually understood what was happening. And at the end of the day, the story was just null and void. We don't actually understand what goes on in the nation, but most of the times we are left with questions running up and down. For years, this is what happens. And I hope that this is not going to happen again in 2026, June. All right. Now, of course, as we go on with this, America is on the neck of the president because of abandoning Ebola. We also see some of the situations that are running around the panic in State House. And of course, we can see this through this movement.
Why are you still paying for AI video tools when the best one is actually free? This open source video generator.
All right.
This guy was killed by goons who were hired by Raymond Omolo. And Jeff, this drama started a day before we went for the rally, where my brother-in-law was arrested here at Kilimani. Then, after I had complained and made some noise and the pressure from Kenyans, they decided to drop him off at Machakos at 4 a.m. in the morning. Then the day after that, we are being treated with the news of the goons. Goons were at the airport. You've just shown it on news. Those were goons which were hired.
So Raymond Omolo needs to go to Jeff Koinange live.
Their bodies were choked into pieces. Salt was sprinkled on the remains deliberately, methodically, with surgical criminal intent, so the hyenas will come, so the animals will feed, so the evidence will be consumed in the belly of the abattoirs and never find its way into.
So, of course, there is a mystery of two Indians who were killed in Kenya, and their bodies were chopped. Then salt was actually spread on their bodies so that hyenas could feed on them. That has become a very funny situation, pointing back to what once we had Rigathi Gachagua saying that in Kenya we have a squad in DCI. And of course, we know what it's good at. Anyway, let's listen.
That is the claim detonating across Kenyan timelines right now. That is what commentator Cyprian Nyakundi posted this week in a thread so explosive it stole the scroll called, and he did not stop at the forest floor. He says when President William Ruto personally demanded to know what happened to the 3 men who vanished while working on his own presidential campaign, that is the briefing that landed on his desk. The chopping, the assault, the hyenas, the remote highland forest, the families of the victims were reportedly informed too. And now, nearly 4 years later, Kenya's Director of Public Prosecution has entered a null prosecute and walked away. Murder charges against 13 police officers, 1 NIS agent, 1 KWS warden, all dropped. No conviction, no trial, no public explanation that matches the gravity of what is being alleged. Case closed, file buried, silence.
All right, guys. So when such cases happened 3 years ago to the 2 Indian guys who were killed, and they were actually dumped in the park, left for the hyenas, the families were aware of what happened later. But now, those who were suspected have been left scot-free. When a nation loses to have justice, even the interiors are not safe. Now we end here. We may not go further into details and hope we have a nice time. Otherwise, bye-bye for now.